Good evening, it's just past 6 o'clock on Saturday the 28th of October and welcome to Wyke Regis TV Saturday 6 PM news. And this week we have a slightly shorter news programme for you, and I'm not live with you this evening. This is a pre-record being done on Friday evening, so I do apologise that it's a shorter programme. And the weather forecast is the weekend weather forecast from the Met Office, so it does cover the whole weekend. But I will be back with you normal time live next Saturday. And in the news this week, Dorset Council's gritting crews are ready to make sure the area's roads stay open when temperatures drop this winter. With more than 90 members of the council's regular highways team on standby for on-call duties day and night, and nearly 13,000 tonnes of rock salt in store, Dorset's well prepared to keep vital roads open during the adverse weather conditions we may get this winter. Now, the team look after 684 miles of roads from 23 main gritting routes, which are treated when road surface temperatures are expected to drop below 1 degrees Celsius. In addition, community routes serving smaller villages and hamlets will be treated during prolonged cold spells, so rural communities can continue to keep in touch and travel. Now, Councillor Ray Bryan from Dorset Council says our dedicated highway crews step away from their regular roles when the temperatures fall to keep residents, businesses and emergency services moving and as safe as possible. Last winter was particularly busy, so we're hoping temperatures don't drop so regularly this year. But whatever the coming months bring, we are ready. Councillor Bryan also urged caution amongst drivers, saying conditions can change quickly, so please take care when out and about. If you find yourself behind a gritting vehicle, please be patient and take care on freshly gritted roads. And that is really the big message from the highways team. Take care on freshly gritted roads. Now, the salt or the grit that they use needs to be dissolved into a solution to work. When roads are gritted, they need vehicles to travel on them to activate the grit. If you travel early in the morning or are the first to drive on a gritted road, you need to drive with care. Even on treated roads, it cannot be guaranteed there won't be ice, and rain can wash away the salt and grit off the road, as well as water runoff from fields. Please take care, reduce speed, keep your distance. Remember, even if the gritters have been out, roads can still be slippery. Well, it's been mild so far this winter. We've had the wet and windy stuff so far, typical October weather, but we could be in for a colder turn soon. Who knows? We'll have to see what this winter brings. Now, Weymouth's neighbourhood plan was published for consultation yesterday. The plan sets out policies for Weymouth's future development through to 2038. Now, if you feel strongly about any of the areas in the plan, the council say make sure your voice is heard. And in the plan, it covers things such as allocating land for over 450 affordable homes, making new homes as environmentally friendly to reduce bills and carbon emissions, making sure that there are jobs and training opportunities so people can stay local, protecting 48 local green spaces proposed by residents to be protected for future generations, making communities safer, more accessible and with more services nearby. And the residents in Weymouth are being asked for feedback on this plan. It's a draft plan and it will shape the town's future in what is described as the most important consultation in a generation. The Weymouth Neighbourhood Plan becomes part of Dorset's development plan, shaped by your comments and focused on Weymouth's needs. Now, approval was given to go out to consultation on Thursday the 19th of October at the Weymouth Town Council full council meeting. And you are being urged to give your feedback on the plan during the 6-week consultation, which runs through until 5 PM on Friday the 8th of December. Residents and organisations can go to the Weymouth Town Council website, where they will find the pre-submission plan documents and the proposals, and feedback can be submitted by completing the online questionnaire, the link of which is on the website. So search for Weymouth Town Council and Neighbourhood Plan and you will get everything you need and be able to submit your views. Now, millions of electric vehicle drivers will benefit from easier and more reliable public charging thanks to new laws approved by MPs just this week. New regulations will ensure that prices across charge points are transparent and easy to compare, and a large proportion of new public charge points have contactless payment options available as well. Providers will also be required to open up their data so drivers can easily find an available charge point that meets their needs. It will open up data for apps, online maps and in-vehicle software, making it easier for drivers to locate charge points, check their charging speeds and determine whether they are working and available for use. These measures come as the country reaches record levels of public charging infrastructure, with numbers growing by about 40% year on year. Now, the Technology and Decarbonisation Minister, Jess Norman, said this week, over time these new regulations will improve EV or electrical vehicle charging for millions of drivers, helping them find the charge points they want, providing price transparency so that they can compare the costs of different charging options and updating payment methods. They will make the switch to electric easier than ever for drivers, support the economy and help with the UK to reach its 2035 goals. Once the regulations come into force, drivers will also be able to contact free 24-hour, 7-day-a-week helplines for any issues accessing charging on public roads. Charge point operators will also have to open up charge point data, making it easier to find available chargers. These regulations follow the government's recent announcement of a range of measures to speed up the installation of charge points through the Plan for Drivers. This includes reviewing the grid connections process for installations and extending charge point grants for schools, amongst other things. The government also continues to support the rollout of charging infrastructure in local areas. Applications are currently open to local authorities in the first round of £381 million worth of local electrical vehicle infrastructure fund, which will deliver tens of thousands of more charge points and transform the availability of charging for drivers without off-street parking. In addition, the on-street residential charging scheme is open to all local UK authorities. The government recently set out its world-leading path to reaching zero-emission vehicles by 2035, which will require 80% of new vehicles and 70% of new vans sold in Great Britain to be zero-emission by 2030. The regulations issued this week will help support drivers as more and more switch to electric. Now, like all NHS trusts, Dorset Healthcare has had to rethink the way it provides services as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, and it's now sharing its thoughts with the community across Dorset. The Community and Mental Health Trust is continued to transform and work hard to build the NHS for the future, providing high quality care local communities expect and deserve. Local people can find out more about what's been happening in the last year and what is planned for the future at the Trust's annual members meeting from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock on the 1st of November. And this is the first face-to-face meeting for the annual members meeting since before the pandemic. The session includes a presentation by Chief Medical Officer Dr. Faisal Sethi and Associate Medical Director for Research Dr. Paul Waters. They'll put a spotlight on the important clinical research the Trust is currently working on with partners and how it involves local people. Now, Chief Executive Matthew Bryant, and that's his picture up on the screen there, will look back over the achievements and challenges of the past year and look ahead for the future. And there will be a report from the Trust Council of Governors as well. A patient story video will illustrate how people who use the NHS services are involved in the work of the Trust, and there'll be a chance to give views in a poll and ask questions of senior leaders. The meeting is at the Allendale Community Centre in Wimborne after 3 years of online sessions. The main meeting runs from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock, and it's Wednesday the 1st of November, so put that date in your diary, with a chance to browse stalls and grab a cuppa beforehand from 2 o'clock. You can find out more and reserve your place at the following web address. Now, it is www.dorsethealthcare.nhs.uk/AMN, as in annual members meeting. www.dorsethealthcare.nhs.uk AMM. Now, places are limited, so if you're interested in going, they recommend that you book early. Now, Dorset and Wiltshire Fire and Rescue Services are asking everyone to stay safe this Halloween and is warning people not to let Halloween become scary for all the wrong reasons. Every year on the 31st of October, children and adults are injured in accidents where candles or fireworks have set fire to costumes and hair. Plastic capes and bin liners, often used as costumes, could also be a fire risk themselves. Currently, children's fancy dress costumes are classified as toys rather than clothes, and therefore are not covered by the same safety regulations. Therefore, there is no requirement for them to be flame retardant or flame resistant. The National Fire Chiefs Council has called for this classification to be changed so that fancy dress costumes are subject to the same safety standards as children's night clothes. Prevention Delivery Manager Vicky Thomas said, "We don't want to stop people enjoying Halloween, but we do want them to celebrate safely. There is nothing more terrifying than having a fire at home or seeing your clothes catch fire." Now, Dorset and Wiltshire Fire and Rescue offered some safety tips for you this Halloween. First of all, check the labels to check whether anything you're buying is fire retardant. You may also wish to look for swing labels which indicate the costume has undergone a BRC additional test. It will say this garment has undergone additional safety test for flammability. Buy from a reputable retailer and be wary of cheap or imported costumes that don't meet UK safety requirements. Layer up and make sure you wear proper clothes under dressing up costumes. This will give you some protection if the dressing up costume catches fire. Don't let your child go near any ignition sources, sparklers, etc. Replace candles in pumpkins with battery operated candles. Teach your child, if they do catch fire, to stop, drop and roll to put the fire out. In an emergency, call any burns with large amounts of water and call 999 and get urgent assistance. And if you must use candles, make sure they are securely placed in a correct holder and place them where they're not likely to be knocked over or set anything alight. Now, if you want more advice on that, you can go across to the Dorset and Wiltshire Fire and Rescue website, www.dwfire.org.uk, where there is lots and lots of safety advice for you and what to do in the event of a fire. Now we go to this week's appeals from Dorset Police. Officers from Dorset Police are issuing a CCTV image of a man they wish to speak to in connection with criminal damage and threatening behaviour in Weymouth. It's reported that on Monday the 2nd of October at around 1:15 p.m. a man caused damage to a bus shelter outside the Rendezvous Bar nightclub in St Edmund Street. When challenged by a member of the public, it is reported that the man then made threatening remarks of violence towards the person. Police Constable Charles Andrews of Weymouth Police said, "I'm continuing to investigate these incidents and have now obtained a CCTV image of a man I would like to identify." Dorset Police are also appealing for witnesses for anyone with information to come forward after a car fire that is believed to have been started deliberately in Weymouth. Dorset Police were called at 9:32 p.m. on Sunday the 22nd of October to a report of a car fire in Colton Road South. Damage was caused to two other vehicles that were parked nearby. Officers attended with the fire service and following initial inquiries, a 52-year-old man from Weymouth was arrested on suspicion of arson. Detective Sergeant Claire Lloyd of Dorset Police said, "Thankfully nobody was injured during this incident, but I'm appealing to anyone who saw or heard anything suspicious in the area to please come forward." And another one from Dorset Police, very busy this week. Officers are continuing to investigate an incident where a man was found injured on the seafront in Weymouth, and they have again released a CCTV image of a man they wish to speak to. Dorset Police received a report around 3:15 a.m. on Saturday the 7th of October from the ambulance service that a man aged in his 50s had been found with injuries on the esplanade near to Marks and Spencer's. He was taken to hospital for treatment for a serious head injury. Following inquiries, it's now believed that the man sustained a head injury following an assault. An officer now releasing a CCTV image of a man they wish to speak to. So there's the man they wish to speak to. If you recognise that man, or the one in the other video, or you've got any information on any of those, Dorset Police would obviously like to hear from you. And the last one from Dorset Police this week, they are investigating the theft of an electric bike in Weymouth and are appealing for anyone with information to come forward. It's reported that on Saturday the 7th of October, at approximately 11:30 a.m, the victim locked their electric bike and helmet to the bike rack behind the TK Maxx and Range stores in New Bond Street in Weymouth. When they returned at 12:30 p.m, the bike and helmet were no longer there. The electric bike is a black Cube Touring Hybrid Pro. If you know anything about that, or you've been offered one of those for sale in strange circumstances, Dorset Police would like to hear from you. If you have any information on that or any of the other incidents tonight, please do give Dorset Police a ring on 101, or if you wish to give information anonymously, you can do that through the Crime Stoppers charity by calling 0800 555 111. Now, Volunteer Dorset or Volunteer Centre Dorset is telling us they are excited to welcome 11 local organisations and charities to talk to people about what they do and volunteering opportunities they have across Dorset. It's a great chance for anyone to come along and find their ideal volunteering role. Now, you can join them online on Wednesday the 1st of November from 12 p.m, and you can attend the whole event, or you can dip in and out to sort your needs. And they would love to hear from you, and so would the organisations involved, and they were interested in finding out more about you. There are quite a lineup of presentations. There is more information on their website about the organisations who are getting involved and who are providing the presentations, and how you can join that event on Wednesday the 1st of November, say from 12 p.m. And the website you need to go to is www.volunteeringdorset.org.uk. That's www.volunteeringdorset.org.uk. Now, the coroner from Dorset is seeking the assistance of the public to find the next of kin of a man who lived in Weymouth. Terence Neal, who was 93 years old, died at his home address in Radipole Lane on Saturday the 21st of October. His death is not being treated as suspicious, and there is no police investigation involved in his death. But Coroner's Officer Laura Thorne said, "We are not treating the death as suspicious. However, we have not been able to locate his next of kin." Now, if any member of the public has any knowledge of his next of kin or any family member, the Coroner's Officer for Dorset would like to hear from you, and you can give them a call on 01202 123 900, 01202 123 900, and that's in connection with Terence Neal, who was 93 years old, who died at his home address in Radipole Lane, Weymouth, recently. If you know anything about him or his family or his next of kin, please get in touch with the Coroner's Office. Now, perhaps the best known local hotel in the area, and certainly the one with the best views, is up for sale. The Heights Hotel, or Portland Heights Hotel, is up for sale for just under £4 million. The hotel, which has 66 bedrooms and several large function rooms and a cafe, has been operated by the same people for the last 30 years, but it's now all up for sale and up for a change of ownership and management. Now, there was a recent planning application, 7 years ago, back in 2016, to actually demolish the hotel and replace it with a new hotel and residential accommodation. Now, that plan got massive public opposition, and therefore the plan was not approved. Now, the Mayor of Portland this week has said, "I hope the hotel sells quickly and there is a smooth transition and no loss of jobs. My worries are for jobs. Lots of people depend on the Heights Hotel, so it would be a big concern if any jobs were to be affected by the sale. It's a business and needs to be maintained as one because its performance as a hotel has been good. I certainly would oppose any strategy to turn it into housing." So it's one for us all to watch this space to see what happens to the Heights Hotel. I would have thought it would sell, and it would sell for a good price, because it's a lovely location and it's an iconic hotel and it has a good reputation. So let's keep our fingers crossed for that. And finally, in our headlines this week, the annual Christmas variety show hosted by Weymouth and Portland Lions Club will take centre stage this December. The evening of entertainment will take place on Tuesday, December the 5th at Weymouth Pavilions, starting at 7:30. Lions Club President Ryan Hope said it's lovely to once again welcome everyone to the theatre to enjoy an evening in the company of Weymouth and Portland Lions Club and all the wonderful performers who give their time and talents to provide a fabulous evening of entertainment. This year's lineup includes Let's Dance, Eloise and Isabel, Alistair Dean, Anna Norman, as well as Wessex Musical Theatre. Lions Club's show chairman Norman Stagel said, "This year's lineup is another strong one as a club. We are grateful to all the artists, performers and singers and dancers for giving up their time for free for the benefit of the community. Thank you to them all." Now there'll be plenty of opportunities to join in, sing along, clap your hands, cheer along and get involved during the evening. A collection will also take place after the show and all the monies raised will be used by the Lions Club for the benefit of local community and local Lions supported charities and appeals worldwide. Tickets are £5 and they're available from the Pavilion Theatre box office either online or by giving them a call. Now there we go, that's the end of our headlines this week. So it's a slightly shorter programme, and in our shorter programme tonight we are now going straight over to Andrew Wright for this week's film review and preview.
Film review and preview, I'm Andrew Wright. This week, the unexpected smash hit comedy fantasy film Barbie released on home video. The film is based on the toy line of the same name and stars Margot Robbie as Barbie and Ryan Gosling as Ken, who go on a journey of self-discovery when they experience an existential crisis. The film also stars America Ferrera and Will Ferrell, alongside a host of various Barbies and Kens, including Issa Rae, Kate McKinnon, Emma Mackey, Dua Lipa, Simu Liu, Kingsley Benedict, Nishuti Gatwa, and John Cena. Now, this was my first time watching the film, and I wasn't really interested in the film. I felt like the film was a bit of a mixed bag. I really liked Will Ferrell's comedic performance, and the cast are quite clearly so passionate about the film. But I felt that the difference between the real and artificial worlds was too jarring, and I wasn't invested in the film at all. Couldn't connect with any of the characters, so I give this film 3 stars out of 5. So it was a bit of a 50-50 movie experience for me. This week, the supernatural horror film Five Nights at Freddy's released in cinemas. The film stars Josh Hutcherson as a troubled security guard who accepts a nighttime job at an abandoned family entertainment centre where he discovers its 4 animatronic mascots move and kill anyone that is still there after midnight. The film also stars actors Elizabeth Lale, Piper Rubio, Mary Stuart Masterson and Matthew Lillard. The film is based on the video game franchise of the same name. The critical reception was released after the UK premiere, because it premiered early in the UK, and it's got about 32% positive reviews from critics, so it's been quite negatively reviewed. The film is in cinemas this week. I'm planning on watching it eventually, but it'll probably be the home video release, so stay tuned for that. In TV news this week, the air date for the Doctor Who 60th anniversary specials was released. It's a 3-part. It's a series of 3 episodes starring David Tennant and Catherine Tate, ahead of Nishuti Gatwa's Doctor taking over at Christmas, with the air dates for the 3 60th anniversary episodes being November 25th, December 2nd and December 9th. And it's air on BBC One, stream on BBC iPlayer, and it'll stream internationally on Disney Plus, although I don't think it'll stream on Disney Plus in the UK. That's all I have for this week, but be sure to check back next week where I will review the new Disney film Haunted Mansion. Now back to Gary in the studio.
Thank you very much there, Andrew, and I certainly look forward to November the 25th and that release of the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who. It's amazing that Doctor Who has been running that long, isn't it? Absolutely amazing. And I know it's very popular with lots and lots of people, so something to look forward just before Christmas. It's time to see what the weather has in store for us this weekend, and we're going over to a Met Office forecast that was issued for the whole weekend, so because we are recording this early, unfortunately it does cover quite a lot of what's happening on Saturday, which by the time we go out will be a bit old, but unfortunately there are no other forecasts that are relevant for this weekend at the time we are recording, so do accept my apologies for that. So we're going to Alex Burkill from the Met Office.
Hello, it's nearly the weekend, and whilst the weather won't be as wet as last weekend with Storm Babette, it is going to be pretty unsettled. Low pressure out towards the west of the UK, a pretty mature low, is bringing returning polar maritime air mass to much of the UK, so showery, blustery weather coming up from the southwest. Meanwhile, towards more northeastern parts of the UK, here we have an easterly flow and a system bringing cloud and rain, particularly to eastern parts of Scotland, so we are likely to see some further high rainfall totals building up here. Otherwise, and in that returning polar maritime air mass, there'll be some sunny spells as we go through the day on Saturday, but also quite a few showers, and some of them could be heavy, perhaps even thundery at times, especially towards the west and also the south coast. But some of them will spread a bit further inland as well. And then notice a spell of more persistent rain starting to push into the parts of the south later on in the afternoon. Temperatures near normal for the time of year, highs around 15, 16 Celsius in the south, a little bit cooler than this further north, and in that brisk easterly wind and under the cloud and the rain, it is going to feel notably cooler too. We do have a couple of warnings in force. At the time of recording, we have this yellow rain warning across eastern parts of Scotland, places where we're still recovering from last week's exceptional rain. And so the fact that some places could see 100 to 150 millimetres building up as we go through the rest of this week and the weekend, that is likely to cause some further issues, some further floodings possible, as well as disruption to travel. Heading further south, and we also have another rainfall warning here. We're talking 50 to 70 millimetres perhaps in the wettest spots around the coast. That's due to the heavy showers and then some more persistent rain arriving later Saturday overnight into Sunday. As well as that though, we have some strong gusty winds to watch out for. That's all due to this feature that's pushing its way northwards. We do have a cut-off low that's likely to develop, hence why we're going to have some strong gusty winds around those English Channel coastal parts. Notice also some strong winds for the far north as we go into Sunday as well. But looking at the details for Sunday, and it's a wet picture. Heavy outbreaks of rain pushing their way northwards across southern parts of the UK, but the heaviest showery bursts should ease as we go later on in the day. Otherwise, and towards the northeast, we drag down a northeasterly wind, and so that will bring some showers across more northern parts, but it's also going to lead to a slight dip in our temperatures here, and so we could start to see some of those showers turning a little bit wintry over the higher ground of Scotland. Temperatures on Sunday in the south similar to what I'm expecting on Saturday, but further north likely to start to turn that little bit colder because we are going to be getting colder air coming in from the north. So a quieter spell as we go through towards the start of the week for northern areas, but that will allow for some colder air to make its way southwards. A bit of uncertainty as to how far south this cooler, colder air does make it. At the moment, I think by Monday it's going to be across more central parts of the UK perhaps, and so turning cooler here, whereas across more southern parts we're going to hold on to something a little bit milder. So looking ahead to next week, and yes, a quieter but also colder start across some northern parts, but then the unsettled weather will return, and so no surprise we are going to see some strong winds and some heavy rain as well. There's more information across our social media, and you can keep up to date with the forecast across our YouTube channel. I'll see you later.
Thank you very much there, Alex. And looking to our local forecast for the next 7 days, as Alex said, there are lots of rain and wind. Still quite mild, as you can see. A few sunny spells, so it's much of the same, isn't it? Mild, wet, windy, sunny spells. So take your coat with you if you're going out this weekend and the week ahead. Now looking at our What's On section tonight. First of all, Weymouth Pavilion, 28th of October, the George Harrison Project. 29th, Hello Again, the Neil Diamond Songbook. 4th of November, Diana Ross Story. 10th of November, Disco Inferno. 15th to 18th of November, Wow presents Oliver. Now that'll be worth going to. That's certainly one to... they're always good productions, the Wow productions. So that's 15th to the 18th of November. And another really good thing to look out for, 19th of November to the 22nd of November, Project Play presents a Vicar of Dibley Christmas. Now, I've been to Project Play things before, and the particular one I remember is their Dad's Army that they did quite a few years ago now, but it was exceptional. And I mean that. It was an absolute exceptional quality performance, and all of them were absolutely amazing and so close to the original characters. So I do endorse their productions for you. Now you can book those tickets online, weymouthpavilion.com, or you can phone the box office on 01305 783 225. Now there'll be a talk by local author Jackie Winter at Weymouth Library on the 4th of November, talking about her most recently published book, Exploring the Quiet Lanes and Villages of West Dorset. The talk will be at 10:30, again that's the 4th of November. Tickets are £2 for library members, £3 for non-members, and refreshments will also be available. Now, the Arts Reach programme is out, as I've been telling you for the last couple of weeks. It has an absolute packed programme, loads and loads and loads of different things. I'm just touching on a few that are in our area of the county. 9th of November, Little Murmur at Broadmain Village Hall. 16th of November, Budapest Cafe Orchestra at the Malham at Swanage. 25th of November, King Lear at Powerstock Hut. 2nd of December, folk music from Flanders at the Royal Manor Theatre on Portland. And 8th of December, The Merry Adventures of Robin Hood at West Stafford Village Hall. Now, more information on those and lots and lots and lots of other shows and music and arts and poetry, anything you can think of is on the Arts Reach website at www.artsreach.co.uk. And I often say, if you fancy touring around Dorset and finding and discovering some small villages, then that's what Arts Reach is all about. It's bringing arts and productions to the small villages so that they are accessible. So you can go out and explore, you can have a pub meal, and you can go to something a little bit different. Look at the Arts Reach website, you'll be really surprised what's on there. That's artsreach.co.uk. Now, church services in Wyke Regis this weekend. Regular services at All Saints Church tomorrow at 8 a.m. And 9:30, two communions, a said communion at 8 a.m, a Sun communion at 9:30, and then 11 o'clock at St Edmund's Church. The new vicar, Reverend John Mackenzie, is taking all the services, and he would love to meet you. If you've not been to church for a while, pop along and meet John. He's a lovely guy, he's very friendly, and he will welcome you into the churches at Wyke and St Edmund's. Now, our other programme this week is our quiz. That will be live at 7:30 tonight. The stream will go live about 7:15, and I will be with you live for our regular quiz. It's available to all the community, it's family friendly, it's free of charge as well. So if you're looking for something to do on a Saturday evening, then please do join us for our Saturday evening quiz. Now that brings me to the end of this week's programme. I hope you have a good week and good weekend despite the wet and windy weather. If you have any information or news for me, do drop me a line at news@wykeregis.tv. I would love to hear from you. And if not, it just leaves me to say have a good weekend and a good week ahead, and I look forward to being back with you next Saturday at 6 o'clock. Good night.